household. This is more insight into single parent life. So yes, we are joined with
Mary.
Woo! Woo! Can we get a round of applause for Mary? Yeah, Mary, yeah. Guys. Mary. Okay, so Mary doesn't have any children.
No.
Who are you, Mary? Tell us about yourself.
Me? Well, Joe, I don't have any kids. Not that any that I know of.
Have a round of applause. Hey! Bonus.
But I'm a child, so I feel like that qualifies me to be here. Pretty much,
you know. You were raised in a single parent household.
I was indeed. I was raised by my mother. Yeah, and I feel like I've been surrounded by a lot of people who are in the same situation as me. So I've got a lot to say on the subject because it's made me who I am. So I'm excited, Joe.
I'm excited too. It's like I just want to get right in there. Yeah. But I want to know, right, how has... Oh, by the way, I was raised in a single parent household as well, just saying, but how has it shaped you? Like being raised by a single parent, how has it shaped, who you are as a person?
I feel like being raised in a single parent household it has its challenges, right? So you realise that things are harder for you. There's limited resources. When you have a parent, they have to be both mother and father. If you have a mother who's raising you or a father who's raising you. And you start to struggle, and I feel like it prepares you a lot more for the world. I feel like being raised in this single parent household has allowed me to overcome a lot of challenges, and it's made me strong. Like honestly, it's made me very, very strong. I feel like a lot of people who have two parents, there's things that they have that I wouldn't have, and
Like what?
What, like what?
Yeah, like what? In a two-parent, what do you see what would be the missing thing? Like what have they got that you haven't got?
I would say that they have more access to resources, right? So when you have two parents, they can do more for you. I feel like having one parent, they're spread thin. I'm going to actually pick up on a very obvious one. Financially. Yeah. Very, very difficult. I mean, for me, Joe, I was raised in Islington with my mum who's single, and she was on the welfare system. She didn't have much money. She was going to college, and she suffered with a lot of challenges, and she didn't have much to give us. I wasn't getting like Air Forces or like the latest shoes or the latest clothes, and that's very hard on a child because there's a lot of pressure in schools to kind of like look good, be good, and like have all of this nice stuff. And I'd be the kid who didn't, so you would have to sort of make up for it in other ways. So while my mum was going to college and doing that, I started to play sports, get very involved. So I was captain of my football team. Yay. I nearly played for Arsenal. Not to flex. Thank you very much.
So what? Was that about Arsenal, sorry?
No, I nearly played for Arsenal. No. I nearly.
You're not a superstar, right?
Yeah, I'm a celebrity, I'm telling you. But no, I nearly played for them. So I used to play defence when I was younger. So I was really good at it, and they were like, we want her. They saw my skills. They used to call me the brick wall. The brick wall, yeah.
Why did you stop? That's so good.
So some family members did not like it because they thought, it wasn't appropriate for a young lady. They were like, it's too masculine. You need to just read and focus on school. You can't be anything.
Strike me as a masculine.
The reason being is because I've been, how can I describe it? I've been, what do you call it when you're groomed to be different? They've kind of like turned me away. They've molded, that's it. They've molded me to be different, right? They're like, no, you need to lean into your femininity more. And do you know what? That's one thing that I do appreciate from my mum.
You do need that balance, masculine and feminine, don't you?
Yeah. But yeah, they were like, you can't do that, it's more masculine. And they were like, this is the way a lady's supposed to act. And yeah, I just kind of went with the program.
Just don't play football and you'll be a perfect lady.
Yeah, exactly. Apparently, it's that easy. Apparently, it's like a simple mathematic formula. But now I feel like as I've gotten older, I'm just discovering myself, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work, and just kind of figuring.
Do you know one thing for me, what I found? Like there was a stage in my life where I realised I wasn't happy because I was doing what my parents wanted me to do. Yeah. Did you ever find that like afterwards, because obviously you wanted to do football, you was the brick wall, man. Do you know what I mean? And now you become a weak fence kind of thing. Do you know?
No, that's actually very accurate.
But do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there were times where I'm like, I'm studying something and I'm like, I don't even want, I'm so bored. Like, why am I here?
Yeah.
And it's because I was molded in that way. Like, did you find that something that you, like, was a challenge for you or something you thought about during those times maybe? I just want to know how you overcame that.
So I wouldn't say that I've completely overcome it. I think you're constantly learning new things and you're constantly evolving. I think that it takes courage to just kind of do what you want to do and just kind of blocking out the noise. Because a lot of people are going to have their opinions of how you should live your life. And as you get older, what you learn to realize is you have to do what's right for you, not what's right for them.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, you're the one in your body. They're not living your life. You're living your own life.
Precisely.
So yeah, you know, of course it takes a while. It's not easy because you're like, oh, I don't want to be different, or I don't want them to like say you're doing this wrong. But like I say, you just filter it out and then you do you. And once you're
you reach that stage where you're like, no, I'm doing me now.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I do. And right now I'm still figuring it out. So who knows where I might end up in 2 to 3 years, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like every year I just come out as a new person, you know?
Born again.
Yeah, a new theme for every year, you know?
That's good. Change. Change. It's natural, isn't it?
It's very natural.
But I know finances are very hard for any single parent, whether it be a male or female. But in terms of like having relationships with like romantic relationships, then I don't know if this is something you may have witnessed in the home growing up, but has like being raised in a single parent household, how has it shaped the way you view love and relationships?
I've had some time to think about this. I think it's negatively shaped my view on relationships. So I come from a sort of single parent patterned family, right? So it starts with my grandmother, and we believe in, I don't know if you believe in generational curses.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
I'm trying to break it, but for some reason it's so difficult because it finds its way of returning to you. So in my family, my grandmother on my mum's side, she was married twice, and none of those marriages worked out. So after the second one, she was off men. She was like, nope, I'm never doing that again. I don't trust men. Men are evil. I grew up listening to that sort of negative opinion of like being married and what men are and how men are going to treat you. So in my head, I was like, well, I don't trust men. If my nan has been burnt,
and I love her.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is a big influence in your life. This is somebody who loves you, you know. It's a second mum, and she's telling me that men are evil. That's going to make me view men in a specific way. Yeah. With my mum, she was sort of different. You know, she had relationships and then she had kids. But the pattern is that none of the relationships managed to work out. But, you know, she has reached a point where she's kind of done with men. Yeah. And it's like, when I'm seeing that, when you're growing up with that, it makes me feel like, well, are relationships ever going to work out? So you kind of have a pessimistic attitude towards dating, and I feel like that's how it's affected me. And I know that I'm very careful. When it comes to dating, I'm very skeptical. I always think about the worst case scenario.
Do you think that's because of what, you know, grandma said, because these curses are passed down?
Exactly. It's like, you see what single parents go through, and it's like, I don't want that for myself.
Yes.
And
and somehow.
Yeah. And somehow... What are you going to say, Joe?
I'm doing the running leg. Somehow it just meets you somewhere.
It meets you. It meets you. You get into all of these relationships and you realise that stuff from your childhood, growing up with you, it really does affect you. I think the way that we are as adults is directly impacted by what we suffered through as children, 100%. Which is crazy. 100%. It's crazy. 100%. Yeah. And even my nan growing up, you know, she would be like, no, you can't get boyfriends or anything like that, because she was like, she always had this thing where you're going to get pregnant. So, and my nan's a very African woman, so like the worst fear is like, you can be an alcoholic, you can do drugs, but just don't get pregnant.
Don't bring me on them places.
So for her, that was like the worst sin. That was like the worst.
Because that's maybe when her life changed. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
That's how it's passed down. We're not looking at, we're young. We're not looking at what happened for grandma. We're looking at what grandma said, and we just want grandma happy. So I ain't doing that.
Listen to grandma.
Then, you know, it takes.
Was your dad in your life at all? At what point did you?
Oh, so
lost communication with him?
This is a very interesting one. I feel like a lot of single parent households, they have very complex dynamic. And in this case, it was very complex. My mother and my father were together for 3 years. And in that time, he had me and my sister with my mum. But during that time, unfortunately, he cheated on my mum and had a secret family. Dun, dun, dun. So I was in contact with my father once he left, and my mum was like, I'm not dealing with this. It was on and off for 13 years. Then funnily enough, I lived with my dad at age 13.
I did the same.
You did the
It's
same?
interesting, these conversations we're having, you know? Yeah, look, I'm
Kind of
turning in now. But how was that with your dad? Because, you know, I often talk to single mothers and I always say, like, what's it like raising the boys? But now I'm getting to speak to the daughter, raised by the dad.
Yeah.
What's that like?
So
what was challenging? Yeah, give it to me.
He was the one who ended my football career. R.I.P. Yeah, yeah. He was the one. So when I was younger, I was very tomboyish, extremely, and he was like, "That's not gonna fly with me." Like at all, he's like, "That's not gonna fly." It's like, so with my father, it was like the way that you behave reflects negatively on me. So that's the kind of dad he was. You know, very typically like masculine and like I don't know. You know when
It's
those
like a man's man.
yeah, very much like that. So my father and I, we don't talk, but during that period that I stayed with him for 5 years, it was like hell on earth. Honestly, I don't have a good relationship.
Just didn't get on.
No, we butted heads at every point. Because being raised, so now I can speak on both these aspects. Being raised by a single mum and a single father, I feel like with a single mother, there's more love, there's more affection shown. This is not for all cases. But it's for my
yeah.
With my father, I wouldn't say that I knew that he loved me.
Ooh.
It's only kind of when you get older and you realize the things that they do. But yeah, I realized that he showed his love in a different way. It's easy for me to be like, no, he didn't care about me, but he did. You know, he did give me a roof over my head. He did feed me, and he did what he, I guess, thought was
right.
best. Yeah.
We live by what we know, don't we?
Exactly.
So.
But the only thing is, he was controlling. Which I didn't like. But my mum was kind of the opposite. She was very free and she wanted me to do what I wanted to do. I think she realised that, you know, we don't have much. So she's like, any opportunity that comes to you, I want you to make use of it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So a lot of fond memories I have is my mum used to take me to football. Everything that I wanted to do, my mum would be like, yeah, I'll take. She might have been late. It might not have been easy, but she would do it because she loved it.
Opportunities. So even though you didn't have much financially, there were still opportunities.
Exactly.
And if there wasn't, your mother created one.
That's the thing. When you're younger, you're looking at the money, but when you're older, you realise that they do a lot more. So she sacrificed a lot for me. She didn't have a social life, if I'm being completely honest. Her life revolved around her kids, and she loves her children. You know, I remember we didn't have much money, and it was my birthday, and I remember I never got anything from my mum for my birthday. And I think I was 12 years old and I wanted to go out with my friends. And my mum gave me £40.
And that was
40.
World to you.
I was like, wow. I was like gobsmacked. It makes me a bit emotional actually. Because I was like, I know what £40 means to you, you know?
It's not hard to come by and she could have been saving forever.
That's what I mean, especially someone who doesn't have, is not working at the moment, who's on social work. They don't get much, you know? And she's feeding me, herself, and my other sister as well. So it meant a lot to me. It was like a moment where I was like, wow, my mum actually cares about how I feel.
And I think in that as well, even though you recognise how much she cares, I think it showed you the value of money. Like,
yes,
there's lots of other things that are more important than just. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. I think single parents need a lot of support. I think they need a community. I know with my mum that she still struggles with a lot of different things, and I know that the lack of support is one of them. You know, when things get very tough, who do single parents go to? They don't really go to their, they might go to their families.
Yeah, they might call up a best friend, and you know, she's probably a single parent too, and it's just
exactly. Or they might rely on other things. Well, if they had suitable and enough support, they wouldn't need to resort to these. Yeah, like allowing single parents to talk about it from their view is really, really important. because when they when they talk, what do? They heal. But it's honestly so true. I mean, my mum's kind of like a leaking tap, just kind of says it, but I'm like, Mum, it's too much. But then, you know, sometimes I think about it, I'm like, well, she's telling me these things because she has nobody else, you know? And I feel like having other single parents in the same room talking about, you know, the troubles and hardships makes them feel less alone, and then they can take action to, you know, improve their circumstances or just like help each other out in ways that they can, you know?
Absolutely.
I mean, I feel like single parents are very neglected.
Because it's true. We tend to get left to, like, we're all just kind of placed in one space. Boom, there you go. There's your single mothers. Yeah. But what amazes me is we're not really talking to anyone. We're talking, but we're not talking. It's usually, oh, what time taking the kids? Should we grab a coffee? There's no really support, is there? It's just like, let me help you get on with your day. Let me help you get on with your day. There's no really content, nothing that's of value or uplifting. I'm not saying that's for everyone. It's just something I've noticed, isn't it?
I think back in the day, it was a lot better. You know, I remember there used to be like street parties. And this is where people would come out in the community. So I lived in an estate, right? So in an estate, there's a lot of single parent households. So too many, right? So we would all come out and we would, I don't know, people would just host different parties. They would bring food, there would be games, and it created a sense of community. So everyone knew each other. The kids were playing, they were getting to know each other, and then it would give kind of the parents some time to breathe. 100%. But nowadays, they don't really have anything like that. So they're dealing with the stress of keeping their children entertained and being with them 24/7. And it's like, what time do they have for themselves? They don't really have that. And when do they get time to enjoy themselves either?
There are some questions I have here. It's careful because these are from children like yourself, raised in single parent household. So I'll try and, I mean, this one's pretty straightforward.
Okay, it says, do you think that being a parent betters your social skills? Yes. Yes. I do think it does. Well, I mean, like, when you're a parent, right, your child can have any personality. Even if you're the quietest person, you could have, like, a sassy diva coming out, throwing stuff at you. So you have to learn how to deal with these people. You have to deal with another person. And being social is dealing with people. So
there you go.
It goes hand in hand.
And one more.
Oh.
We'll leave it at that one. Yeah.
Why do parents shout so much? I would like to know that as well. Why do parents shout so much? I feel like it's stress. Like, there's a lot of stress. There's a lot going on, and sometimes kids can be annoying. And we tend to bombard them with a lot of useless information. But yeah, sometimes, you know, they snap. They're human beings as well, and it happens. Yeah. I don't think it necessarily means anything bad. But
Well, sometimes we shout when we're angry. Yes, I do. I shout. My voice goes high and low. But yeah, I think sometimes it is angry. But most of the time it's just because I've asked you 3 times. So can you hear me now? That's what it is sometimes. Frustration. Because I've asked you 3 times and you've walked past. You got what you wanted out of me. So can you see the stress levels building, guys? Yeah, that's what happens.
do you know what? My mum does the exact same thing. She'll be like, Mary! I'm like, oh, Mum, okay.
But what's your message to single parents?
Single parents, to all the single parents out there. You're doing a fantastic job, and being a single parent is probably the hardest job in the entire universe. Don't beat yourself up. Keep going, and you'll probably raise a star, like me.
Amen.
Amen. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Right?
Yeah.
All good.